Hello, friends, and welcome back to the PC Perspective Podcast. We've reached episode 677. It's being recorded on May 18, 2022. I'm Sebastian Peak.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath, snapping at my cat.
I'm Brett Van Sprumberg, and if you've tuned in for episode 2 of our 3-part series on Tesla recharging and battery care,
No.
we've canceled that for tonight.
Okay, good.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
There was a tremendous amount of content that you would have missed if you only watched the edited version of the podcast last week. So I urge you to go to patreon.com/PCPer and join our Patreon community, the PC Per podcast arts community, and you'll get access to the uncut original recording sessions, which are not fit for human consumption. And we want to thank all of our patrons for keeping the boat afloat, keeping the lights on. We couldn't do it without you. And let us move immediately to Food with Josh. Go.
Food with Josh. So we had a small disaster today. I don't know what the special was, but I called in and I said, can I make an order for takeout? And they said, you can, but you may not. And I asked, why? You dirty, rotten piece of... And he replied, because the power went out in the kitchen. So Born in the Barn did not have a special today. And I was going to tell Born in the Barn that maybe you should look into the Mississippi Slug Burger. I recently saw this on YouTube, making a Mississippi Slug Burger, and it looked interesting. It has nothing to do with slugs. They're called slug burgers because you pay a nickel, which back in the day was called a slug, for this particular hamburger. This hamburger was mixed with filler, but they did it kind of interesting with, kind of stale bread as a filler and mixing and, did it. But anyway, sounded like an interesting idea. I was going to tell them about it, but they weren't open because they didn't have any power. So I went to Mr. Bill's Burger, and I actually went inside this time, and sure enough, on the wall is a picture of Saturday Night Live's Mr. Bill.
Oh no, Mr. Bill.
Exactly.
Look out.
Yeah, but anyway, so I ended up ordering the smoked brisket sandwich with fries. Comes medium. And this mess was extremely tasty. It wasn't a huge amount of brisket because, well, brisket anymore is more expensive than you really want it to be. But it was enough in there that it gave a good experience. The fries were excellent. The brisket was tasty. The barbecue sauce was messy, but good. It had good onions, slaw, some pickles in there. It all came out rather well. So it was a tasty smoked brisket sandwich. Not a burger, but they did have a smoked brisket burger that just seemed a little too heavy. I wanted to try the brisket by itself and see how it was. And it was, it was well worth the experience. As you can see, it's messy, but good.
Let's move to the news, and the top story this week has to be the exciting new Intel Arc desktop graphics developments that have been happening. And anyway, our next story, AMD is approaching 30% market share. Not in some obscure category. We're talking about all x86 CPUs, 30%. When was the last time that happened? This is according to
2004, 2005.
Mercury Research analysts said that they're it's 27.7%, but still, that was Q1 of 2022, and that is better than their 25.6% previous quarter. So they're growing, and it says it right here, surpassing the 25.3% shipment milestone it achieved against Intel back in 2006. So it's the best ever for AMD.
And getting stronger every day.
Growth in servers, growth in laptops, which is key, obviously, because, most normal people and most business people use notebook or laptop, depending on your preference, computers.
Well, now, to be fair, AMD is cheating. Like there's actually laptops you can buy that are AMD powered right now.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
That kind of did help jump the numbers quite a bit. 5 years ago, a Lenovo? Nope. A Dell? Nope. HP? Maybe. Now they're also on them. And people like them.
The XE graphics you can get with, I should be fair, you can get Intel laptops with XE graphics, but they're the CPU graphics.
Yeah, that'll be next quarter, so we'll see how that changes.
No, it's ARC, not XE.
Yeah, ARC is the one that's
XE,
coming.
Yeah. XE's out. ARC's not making an impact yet.
There were XE laptops. Yes.
ARC is the one that they had to announce at the end of the quarter because
April.
They needed to meet the promises they made to shareholders. So they paper launched that, and then they said, well, it's coming.
There was
but
50 available in the Korean marketplace. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So they're in and around the Samsung factory where they were being produced. They were available.
Handed off by the pushers hanging outside the door.
And I guess next it's going to China or something. It's going global. I don't know. I put into the chat a couple days ago, by the way, the Discord public channel, an article from AnonTech about the cancellation of desktop Larabee. This is in like 2009. And I just took out references to the Larabee product itself and to other AMD products. It was basically the same. TSMC was having...
It was the same story?
Yeah, TSMC was having X nanometer production issues. AMD and NVIDIA had new stuff on the way. Intel was behind schedule, so AMD and NVIDIA were going to leapfrog them with their next-gen stuff before they ever had a chance to release their current-gen stuff. They couldn't get the software talking to the hardware the way they wanted to, so there was a big delay, and then they finally just canceled it. So we'll see what this CEO decides to do, because the circumstances are all lining up to be exactly the same.
I think they have invested this time way more money than they did previously with Larabee. Larabee was, that was kind of an interesting, x86 cores, basic Atom cores with vector extensions attached to them in kind of a network solution that
it was a swarm.
It never really worked very well. But at least ARC, it is more of a modern type architecture. It's different from AMD and NVIDIA, obviously, because they can't copy them due to many reasons. But, they've invested dramatically more in graphics infrastructure, and they seem like they're actually going to do it this time, even if they're going to be at a disadvantage, which is why they're only making a couple of million cards for the rest of this year, until they can start releasing more advanced stuff that is going to catch up with the competition. And eventually they will. We just don't know if they're going to be doing it at a price that is going to make them happy, or if they will achieve any kind of dominance. These things look kind of dim, but they are a third competitor, I think, in the second half of this year. But we'll see what it comes out with, and it may not be popular, but it will be available.
I was just looking at old AnonTech articles. Here's one from 2009 that there was going to be a first-generation holodeck by 2016. So, it's just...
Yeah, I'm still using Infinity in the kitchen.
I still remember that CES, that CES thing where they had the house where they had, a bunch of monitors around there, and people were coming in and blowing things up, and there's some guy screaming, and the police were showing up, and it was this, virtual reality thing that was really, really crappy. And then they had the Dome, which was, both audio and video, and was a little bit better than that Screaming House thing was. But yeah, it's been lots of promises of holodeck for many, many years. Yeah.
We'll do it in VR.
Go Meta.
It's okay.
Go away, Meta. Just go away.
Oh. Well, I hear there's actually this thing where you're transported to anywhere in the world, kind of like in Star Trek, where you can just get on a transporter pad and you can interact with people
but you don't
anywhere
have
in the
bottom.
world. Well,
you have no legs. You have no
I think you can
anything
pick
below the
what you
waist.
look like because you create,
Lieutenant
I guess, like
Dan!
this avatar for yourself. I think it's called the metaverse, and
stop.
it's
Yeah,
going to
that's the
change
one.
everything. Who needs
Yeah,
the
but
holodeck when you've got the metaverse? I can just travel anywhere on Earth and interact with
Float
people.
At this
around.
point, I want Second Life to come back in a big way because it was better.
I just want 1998 level 3D graphics to interact with people in.
That was what, Second City or what is that called?
Second Life.
Second Life. Yeah.
Still kept alive by some fanatics on a couple of servers. But yeah, honestly, it looked better than the metaverse has ever even.
AdaptiveSync, we love it, but AdaptiveSync has a little bit of an issue apparently
Immediate
with
Lies.
well, right, with marketing. So there are now going to be some certifications out there. The AdaptiveSync Display Compliance Test Specification. This is all exciting stuff from VESA, or however you pronounce VESA.
Oh my God, VESA.
Is it VESA?
VESA
It's everywhere you want it to be.
I thought it was VESA.
I don't know what it
No.
is. I think
I am going to
VE
travel out to wherever you live.
Which one do you want, Josh? Because I'll take the other.
VESA.
Okay.
Ouch.
So serious
Canadian.
gamers, it says here on their website, don't have time to second guess what's on the screen. One hitch or jitter and zap, you're toast. Writes this. I don't even know what this is for.
Exciting.
If every monitor claims to have the fastest refresh rate in the universe, how can you be sure what's really inside?
Does this really only matter when you watch the UFO alien? I mean, everything else is fine. Just that one video.
Well, no, if you're watching the UFO alien, you're going to do it on Media Sync because that handles everything at 60 hertz and below.
Oh, okay.
And then the other one is for 60 hertz and at least 144, if not more. But I mean, you might recall me mentioning last week about Wi-Fi 7 being presented to the governing body as a fait accompli, and it's already done. Well, yeah, that is sort of what's happened with AdaptiveSync. We've been so used to it, we didn't realize that VESA hasn't really got into it, and picking and choosing that. Like HDR is the perfect example. I mean, HDR 400 was often like not even good brightness, let alone high dynamic range. And so, this needed to be done. And so VESA, what they did is they stepped in.
Are you really calling it VESA?
No, I'm just doing it to annoy you.
Okay,
It's VESA.
thank
Is it
you.
working?
Because
Well, now
Is
it's
it working?
morphed into
VESA local
VESA.
bus. VESA
It's
VESA.
local bus. I've heard it a billion times.
Yes.
VESA local bus.
It's
That was
VESA
the original.
certified. Yes.
Thank
Or a
you.
VESA mount.
Vespa
for the
local
love
bus.
of-
No, VESA mounts are completely different. When they're doing the tests for it to qualify this for certified adaptive sync, they're testing that it's got no more than 1 millisecond of judder at a bunch of different random refresh rates, ranging from like the Hollywood film standard of 23.976 hertz all the way up to US broadcast of 59.94. And this is because, if you know what you're doing, frame doubling and frame tripling is a thing, and all of a sudden you've got these huge judders to try and fill in the missing times. So these guys are making sure that, AdaptiveSync is doing what it's supposed to do, which is to make sure that those judders don't frickin' happen. They also are testing them at the gray to gray response rates at a variety of different temperatures because, interestingly enough, you can optimize some of your monitor's performance by running it just a little bit warmer because the crystals switch just a little bit faster. And then the last thing they do is that on overdrive, there's more. They make sure that it doesn't screw with stuff. So they've actually taken it sort of seriously, and this might be interesting. So you're going to see the TVs with media sync, or at least the standard resolution ones, and then you're going to see everything else with VESA certified adaptive sync, which I don't hate. I think it's a good idea.
Can I believe in the 120 hertz refresh rate from my brand spanking new C1 I just got?
Well, is it certified?
Says so on the outside of the box. I don't know. Seems fast.
The panel needs to actually be able to switch fast enough to accommodate the insane, refresh rate that the electronics are creating.
Those
and
liquid
most can't.
crystals can only move so fast.
Right.
It's true.
Wendell did an excellent video on this a while back at Level 1 Techs, where he is using a high-speed camera and just showing you, like, look, this very few monitors are capable of doing even the 120 they claim they can do.
Meaning that the panel itself can accept a higher refresh input signal, but the display itself is not physically capable of displaying that high refresh.
All I know is that the Alienware 120 overclock that I have is so much smoother than the 60 hertz that I previously did.
Was that on a 144 monitor, Josh? So you
No, it's a 120. Yeah.
Okay.
100.
No, it still hits
driving to
155,
120.
and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm happy with it.
I've been capping my 144s at 120 just because the 144, even though they're rated for that, did not seem to always work out.
Well, the thing about 120 is think about movies and video being played on it.
You're just doing it exact double.
That's 24, 30, and 60 are all multiples of 120.
Yep.
And that's all a good thing. Okay, it's like 23.9666 whatever frames per seconds, but close
It's
enough.
also
for government work.
59.94 hertz. So
0.994 or something, yeah.
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 I always like it when you have both options when you're using it as a computer monitor. It's like, do I want 60 or 59.94? Will I be able to tell the difference?
Something railway gauges.
Speaking of standards and
I have
certifications,
low standard.
Phison, if that's how that's pronounced, am I getting that wrong too? Is it Phison? Is it
Phison?
They've announced successful deployment of the world's first, wait for it, PCI Express 5.0 Redriver IC. Yes, the PS7101. I know there's been a lot of chatter about when was the certification milestone going to happen in the Redriver world for PCI SIG certified, Gen 5 Redriver
PCI
chips.
5.
Yeah, because it's got to be 5. Obviously, there's PCIe 4 stuff out there. Now, I was looking at this and I had to ask myself, what the heck is a Redriver anyway? And
it's not a repeater.
No.
Because a repeater is confusing as hell.
Yes.
A Redriver is a cheaper retimer.
But it doesn't retime, apparently. Look,
understand this.
I went to PCI SIG's explanation of this.
Oh, interesting.
So a
Redriver
is simply adding gain to the signal.
Well,
it's an amplifier.
And it's squelching some stuff as well. Like it does have a timer that it runs, so it knows this is what should be when. Now the
threshold detector.
Yeah, because all of a sudden you're obviously out of where you should be. So it moves it a little bit back towards its own internal timer, but it doesn't move it back to what the actual timing was. Because the retimer is impressive as hell. It's a physical protocol-aware piece of hardware and software that literally will reform even something that's had a lot of noise and attenuation added into it back to exactly what
I just can't take this seriously because it flip-flops so much. I mean, look at it.
It's a 1 and a 0 and then it's a 1. I know.
How can
and it doesn't so
one
fast.
standard flip-flop so much? Damn it.
But that's the problem with PCIe 5.0 is that it's so frickin' fast. Like one single lane is, of course, as is tradition, twice as fast as a PCIe 4 lane.
Did you say one single anus?
Nope.
That's
lane.
That's not what he said.
But because it's so ridiculously fast, you are now, and like the signal has a lot of trouble going through just the circuit traces on the motherboard, let alone if you're using a server with a riser card. So you need this to be able to sort of get it back into spec. And it's also a great place to dump heat off because guess what? PCIe 5.0 is going to be hotter than 4.0.
That's a shock.
And 6.0 that they're already working on the specs for is just going to be toasty.
I'm wondering about NVMe because those are very, very, very small traces. And you're going to have to push a lot of power through those. And already, if you look at...
Right.
I just happen to have... look at how small. If I can get...
It's wee. Turn on the macro.
Oh, I can't because I'm
almost.
stupid.
Almost there.
Where is it? Anyway, just pick up a stinking M.2, and you can see how close those traces are all together and how small they are and how many pins they are. And you start thinking about how much power they're going to be pushing through that, and how many, I don't know, volts and amps and whatnot. It's going to be kind of crazy, but you know, they're going to figure out a way to do it. Maybe they'll make PCBs out of asbestos later, and I don't know.
Well, we're not using it for anything else. So.
Room temperature superconductors, man. We need them more than ever.
The case of the geometric future, Model 8 Cowboy. What is this? Is that the name of the case? Who makes this case?
Yes, so it's Geometric Future that makes it, and it is the Model 8 Cowboy, which has a form factor we haven't seen in a long time, where
BTX?
you're dangling your daughter cards off of the top.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Rotated layout.
It was popular for a little bit.
Kid Rock was going to show up and say that your case is going to be your Cowboy.
Geometric. Reinvent the wheel. No, Silverstone did this many years ago. But anyway.
Well, that's what I mean, is they're reinventing what was invented many years ago.
This looks a lot like a Fortress FTO2.
But here's the interesting thing.
FTO5.
You see that tan stripe on the top? That's leather.
What? That is? I thought it was a reflection of something.
And so is the orange
on the silver. Okay.
Yeah, it's got leather highlights on the tempered glass because it's a Cowboy, I guess.
Okay. I mean, does leather have? It has nice insulating properties, so that probably helps keep your components nice and warm.
So as you can see, the front of it is a solid design. There is no intake or outtake. In fact, that's where you stick your power supply. But if you look on the bottom,
there are no optical drives in this.
Yeah, sadly,
Josh is out. That's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct, Josh.
It's zero optical drives.
So the airflow is bottom to top, right?
Or I would suspect you should maybe go top to bottom unless you really like it's got a dust filter on it, but you're kind of tempting yourself there because it is ridiculous. The airflow in it, if I can find it. So at the rear, you can fit 4 120 or 140 millimeter fans. At the bottom is another 3 120 or 140 mils or equivalent radiator. And at the top is another 120 millimeter fan or radiator. So it's got ridiculous amounts of airflow if you want to do it. It doesn't ship with any fans, which some people are going to hate. Some people will like. But it's different. It's kind of nice to see something different that doesn't look like, oh, this looks exactly like the one that Silverstone released, or the Corsair one, or the
what I thought was
Sebastian. It's sort of similar, but not quite.
It's not quite.
It's a little different. What I thought was an interesting potential advantage for the vertical orientation was the struggle is real regarding supporting freaking huge graphic cards nowadays. Just allow them to hang.
Yeah.
There. Cards like to hang out. That's true.
Zero sag. Perfect.
Still a nice looking case.
Yes, well photographed as well by Kicker staff.
Look at those Noctua fans, man.
Mm-hmm.
Woof.
Sexy brown, man. I like that tan.
Who wants to talk about the 6650 XT? One of the most exciting graphics cards in recent memory.
It is.
We talked about the 6750 XT last week, but we didn't get a 6650.
Hey, it could give you a brand new resolution.
Hey, look at how many outputs it actually has as compared to other 6600s, which have like 2.
The 6500 XT is not the best for multi-monitor support.
No,
that's for sure. Unless you consider dual monitor to be acceptable. Oh, they're doing 6600 versus 6650 XT. Brent, I like your style because when I did the 6750 XT review, I just compared it to the 6700 because it was all new testing and I didn't have time to retest every single thing on the new platform. So similar test setup too. Look at that. Same motherboard, same processor.
You're writing for them, aren't you?
No comment.
I see.
Brent Justice is just one of my many aliases.
Brent, that's your
Great
porn name, right?
alias. For great alias.
Brent Justice.
I worked for Kyle for so long. You got to be very close. Okay, Dying Light 2, highest settings at 1440p, minus ray tracing. The 6650 XT gains 10 frames per second. It goes from 40 to 50.
FSR goes from 58 to 73. That's even
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see.
Which goes from sort of playable to, nice.
Yeah, it goes from not quite making 60 frames per second to easily making 60 FPS. So that's good.
Yes.
Forza Horizon 5, it goes from 56 to 67.
And
Yeah,
again, CES is lovely.
Yeah, it looks
Far
like at
Cry.
least a 10 FPS boost across the board. This is more interesting
That's more.
Yeah.
than the
No,
6750.
this is a resolution boost. This has gone from what is a 1080p card to what is arguably a 1440p card.
And these are like ultra quality or highest quality settings with
They're not
1440. So
I would
that is
put this
impressive.
forward as most improved for the a 50 series card.
And then we have Cyberpunk, which just doesn't like to run properly at all.
Yeah, but with
anyway.
FSR, hey.
FSR, you're knocking
Look at the
on
difference.
60 frames.
FSR ultra quality almost doubles the performance. We were seeing
Remember-
much more modest gains with some of the other games.
You did see they had it on Ultra, so if you just tune that a little bit, you're probably at 60.
Why?
Why
FSR
tune it?
ultra quality would be the lowest upscale ratio.
Yeah. At 119? Fine.
No, we were looking at Cyberpunk 2077 at the time.
Oh,
It wasn't
yes,
quite hitting
it's
60. Just shy with
59.
FSR. It was like 58.7 or something.
Yeah, Cyberpunk, and still not even hitting 60 with
Yeah.
FSR enabled, yes.
50,
Yeah, well,
56.
How
Jump
sad.
from
I mean,
Ultra.
I've been looking at some Cyberpunk results just for low-end testing, 720 and 1080 low, with the lowest detail preset, lowest texture quality, and still getting, 30, 40 frames per second. Like, this kind of
Enjoy your
GPU testing
your 720.
will destroy your soul.
Enjoy your 720p gameplay.
But
It doesn't look good.
What's 2020 looking like?
Well, let's see. From 35 to about 44 frames per second at 1440 Ultra.
That's significant.
It is a much faster card.
No, of the three cards that AMD released, this is by far the more impressive of them all.
And least expensive.
Yeah.
Well, if you can find it, I guess.
We're going to do this live. We're going to go to newegg.com.
Okay.
I know that it's a controversial site these days.
I'm going to go to
But-
Micro Center.
Let's see.
See you in a bit.
R
6650
66
XT. And
doopy
$400 in stock.
Coming soon.
I could add it to my cart right now.
That's the game bundle.
What?
Is coming soon.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
Coming soon.
oh crap! You're right.
Radeon raises the game.
Yes, they are launching
The
the game
speedster's
bundle.
out already. What?
I'm
Mind you, that's probably a
impressed.
good deal at
Wait,
409.
let's see. Cryptocurrency payment accepted. Yes. Can I buy any of these with crypto? Yes. I don't have any crypto. Okay, turn that off again. In stock. Let's look at in stock.
Newegg has a better price than Micro Center right now.
Oh, poor you.
Sort
I
by
know.
lowest price. So I'll get something irrelevant at the top. No, wow. Okay. So we're really $399
Let's go by lowest.
for significantly
400.
better performance in the 6600. Seems like a good deal to me.
No, I expect that'll be going in the high end.
Except when you look at the 6700 XT for $75 more.
Oh,
Is it such a
I didn't realize that.
Let's pause here for a word from this week's podcast sponsor.
Hey, with spring in the air, it's time for renewal and growth, personally and professionally. As your small business grows, LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and now for free. I know that personally using LinkedIn Jobs has worked in the past and connected me with qualified people and hiring organizations. So go and create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Then add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile profile to spread the word that you're hiring so that your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easier to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and then hire. This is one reason why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/PCPer. That's linkedin.com/PCPer to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's move on to our gaming quick hits portion of the show, where we look at obscure games or, games that are coming soon or humble bundles or, who knows? We never know what's going to happen here. This is completely random. Bohemia Interactive releases Arma Reforger.
The first time that we got a look at Bohemia Interactive's real virtuality engine was in 2001 in Operation Flashpoint. They have used that engine through the variety of abysmal follow-ups to Operation Flashpoint and Arma 1, 2, and 3. They've been using this thing for 2 decades, and it's been relatively gorgeous. There aren't many game engines that render the shadow of a fly flying across tarmac on the tarmac, let alone handle bullet drops or material penetration as well as this engine has. But the problem is that as the engine ages and as you can do more and more, the interface becomes this terrifying wheel that just even for someone who knows how to play it, becomes just horrific. And for anyone to try and get into it is just abysmal. It also leads to a variety of bugs where all of a sudden AMD cards just really didn't frickin' feel like doing anything for no reason at all. And it was eventually fixed. But, it's become sort of a thing where they looked and they said, first off, we got to make this cross-platform. We have to do something that's going to work on both console hardware and PC hardware. And 2, it's got to look like ridiculously gorgeous. So that's what they did. And as one of the most famous comments that I've seen is, hey, the toilet's now flush. So they've gone over and above, as they always do on this, because it's less of a game and more of a military sim. The drawback is it's $30 US. It's got multiplayer and a scenario mode. It's not Arma 4. Buying it isn't going to get you a discount off of Arma 4. So this is a test of the engine. It gives you a look at it. It gives you a chance to talk to the developer and say, this worked, this didn't work, and everything. But there are some that, they're going to be upset at paying $30 to sort of test a game. On the other hand, if you like this sort of thing, and if you've enjoyed Arma, this is a fresh chance to check out a brand new engine. They've set up like 164 square kilometer island to fight or just drive and piss around because there is a lot to explore. So yeah, it's somewhere between a beta and a pre-release. It's $30. If you like this sort of thing, you're gonna love it. If you don't, well, it's still $30. It's not that bad. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, inflation adjusted, it's like $20 2 years ago.
Easily.
Like $20 in January.
Well, mind you, if they don't raise the price, if you wait until next month, it'll be even cheaper, inflationary speaking.
Delaying games is trendy. And Bethesda, they're like, hey, we went in on
2
this.
minutes delay a game.
Yeah. Look, we can't blame it on global events anymore, but we're going to delay games anyway. Were you looking forward to either Starfield or Redfall? Because
Starfield, maybe.
Redfall, I have no idea. Skyrim in space. But you saw those trailers, you knew it would be delayed. Here's the problem, though. I mean, which would you like? On the A side of the menu, we have the half-baked game that shouldn't have been released quite yet, but is now available for you if you want to get it. Or on the second side, well, you ain't going to get your dinner for a couple of days, but when it's done, well, it's probably going to be at least mostly done. We don't guarantee it's perfectly done, but it'll be mostly done. And that's your choice.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad that that's our choice, but that's literally what it was. We overpromised and underdelivered, and
Yes. Leap is the next game on our list. What is Leap? Well, it says right here what it is.
It's a game about a man like just sort of taking a little bit of a break in a swimming before he gets annihilated by an alien.
So that's what's happening in the video.
So no, it's got a David Attenborough over talk if you put the audio on.
Oh,
It's brilliant.
All right.
Is this like Goat Simulator except
No, it's more like
Taken to
Unreal
11.
Tournament.
Lies a
once they start
cybernetic
getting
enhanced male known as the Leap Mercenary. Typically a violent and unruly species, lacking any sense of self-awareness. They are usually seen causing destruction everywhere they go. They seem to have an unquenchable hunger for obtaining money. Not to mention, they're the only known species that kills for entertainment. We catch a rare glimpse of this mercenary in a solitary state. Perhaps just this once. This mercenary appears to have connected with nature.
Or not.
Or not.
So now it goes into the game. It looks very Unreal Tournament-like. They've got the hoverboards for the larger maps. They've obviously have vehicles. There is mention of Robo Moose that you can ride, which they didn't show, but is intriguing to me. Lovely sniper shots. It really sort of says to me the new Unreal Tournament, since they haven't put one out for frickin' ever. It's got a free open beta,
by the way.
Well, yeah, but it's Fortnite. There's base building in sight. I don't think there's base building in this at all. And there's a free open beta starting tomorrow night, going throughout the weekend. So it looks like that would be worth a shot. You can go to their Steam page and say, I'd like to sign up for the beta itself, but there is an open beta this weekend. So I thought it was worth mentioning because, this one looks a little high action, jump up and down. Maybe it's crap, I don't know, but it's not going to cost me anything to find out.
In our security corner, Ars Technica is reporting that a new Bluetooth hack can unlock your Tesla. Oh, more Tesla news. And all kinds of other devices.
It's not just your Tesla.
It's not just your Tesla.
I've been worried about this for a while because of the way that these cars work now. My wife bought a new Mazda that you can unlock with your smartphone.
Bluetooth Low Energy was originally described as something that was kind of terrifying, and guess what? It is.
It is. This is Jeremy. Go ahead and describe this as this relay attack thing. This is actually
you go for it. I was just going to point out that this, for anyone who thinks that this is just, I don't own a Tesla, who cares? Wiser locks are susceptible to this.
No, here's a good graphic for this. The way that this works is that your key fob or your phone, in its Bluetooth mode, will respond to and emit the unlock code if it's ever close to the car. So if the two can be spoofed to be somewhat, to say, close together by another device, by a nefarious individual carrying a phone or something with a little bit of hardware attached to it that says, "Hey, I'm your car," or "I'm your key fob," they can get and elicit the key code out of the device, send that over a very low-level driver to somebody who is remote, and have it re-emitted to a device that's physically close to the target vehicle, for instance. You can leech off the signal off of a key fob, transmit it over the internet, and have it broadcast to the guy standing in your driveway while you're vacationing in Acapulco. This actually works, unfortunately, more localized. You don't have to be on vacation. If you just happen to leave your key fob too close to the outside of your house, this actually similar attacks work. Where they can actually pick up the signal from your whatever car. It doesn't have to be a Tesla, they can, with a phone, a simple Android device with a very simple piece of hardware or a laptop, that they can trigger the Bluetooth emittance from your key fob, relay it to the person standing in your driveway 40 feet away, and drive away with your car.
Yeah. Any Tom, Dick, or Mary with about $100 worth of equipment.
Yep. Bluetooth Low Energy was not designed as a fail-safe proximity mechanism. And here's
It
why.
was not designed well, is what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, don't another
Yes, David
safety
Schwab,
tip.
it is a transponding attack, but it's ridiculous.
Don't post real-time vacation photos to your Facebook friends until you get home.
Yeah.
That's another tip. Don't let people know you're not at home.
There's a big bag of popcorn there.
It is. Apparently, he's very hungry.
He needs to clean his house. Looks like my place.
No,
You know what? Nobody
don't
has talked about how much I've cleaned up my office. This is really disappointing to me. I spent a lot of time getting the floor shampooed, and
Well, we can't see the floor.
Well,
Well, I was going to mention
yeah, but
that I
look
could
at
see Jade
Okay, we can see the floor now.
checking out the window.
it is really nice. Really
You
nice.
just take your webcam off and just walk it around the room and let us all experience it in virtual
No, I can't do
reality.
that because everything is stuffed in the no can see cone.
Right. That's just right behind
It's
the
just
camera.
television magic. It's a set.
So I could
That's
see
all this
sunlight
is.
behind you and Jade checking out the sunlight through the window. And I was going to mention it, but you were talking at the
Jade's
time.
meowing at me
Not being
now.
interrupted.
So, yeah. But I did change around the ripper, so it's no longer upside down. And I did
Oh.
dust
The helmet's
the helmets, so those are nice and clean. There's a cat that's behind me.
I
You
still
can
see the
see her,
tails.
her tail going. Gosh dang it.
Your wonderful wife's station is still wonderfully organized as usual.
Oh, for the love of! It was clean, and then she came in and deposited papers. It's all disaster. Papers. Anyway, yeah, I cleaned my room except for the buffalo. It's a little dusty. Ain't that a little dusty up there?
Well, you don't want to
Then
get
we
too
go
close
into
to the
Nick
buffalo.
Cave. We get some sad Nick Cave music, and it all goes downhill from there. Has anybody
Right.
actually ever watched the Brad Pitt Jesse James movie?
Yeah.
Like 15 people, I think, totally did. And
I was, I think, one of them. I almost made it through the whole thing, too.
almost. Ain't that a little
Josh-
dusty up there?
Josh, the reason why no one has said anything about your cleanup is because this is the internet and people only have disparaging comments. They don't have anything nice to say usually. So I know. Shocking.
Well, Josh froze. Josh is doing the job.
No, I
No,
didn't.
Josh.
Sorry.
All right. Well, it feels like we haven't been doing this long enough because it's only been an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, we have.
Oh yeah. So let's.
It's been a journey.
We have to juxtapose this against last week's, so we made this a little tighter this week.
Mm-hmm. Let's
and
move.
guest stars.
Let's move to picks of the week. Josh, do you want to get us started?
Let's. Okay, so this is one of the more inexpensive yet still reasonably performant PCIe 4.0 SSD. It's from our friends at who is it? They're from Idaho. Crucial, the P5 Plus. It's not the fastest, but it's their own little controller, and it's their own NAND, and you can have them with them. And it maxes out at what 6,500 reads and 5,000 writes. Not great speed, but it's only $109, $107. Yeah, $108.
That's pretty
for 1
fast.
terabyte PCIe 4.0. Still pretty fast, but this is the cheapest, probably fastest 1 terabyte drive that you can find.
$20
it's
promo
a good
code.
balance of performance and yeah. Let's see, it's $127, $20, $108. I mean, you're looking at 150 for a Samsung or a Sabrent or any of those other 1 terabyte drives. Western Digital SN850. All of those are all in that same area. This is almost $50 less, and it's about as good. So, yeah, go and find that puppy. Go and buy it. Enjoy. Be happy. Last part
and we
is
both argue that,
to do, but you can try.
we both argued that the difference in performance that you're going to actually notice, unless you're doing professional work, between the top of the line 4.0 and the good one it's immeasurable. It's that big.
Jeremy, are you ready for your pick of the week?
Well, I don't
Your
know.
very special pick of the week.
Thing.
Is that like a very special episode of Blossom?
God, I hope
No,
not.
it is not. It is
Maybe
not.
Spunky Brewster, but not Blossom.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is here. It's this thing, right? The Drop Plus EPOS PC38X.
Oh, look at that nice bag.
Hope I don't drop it.
That would add to the experience.
Drop it like it's hot.
It's been dropped. They printed the instructions
Nice
on the
package.
outside.
How's the heft?
It's very light.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Very light.
Is it wireless?
Very plushy. They didn't. They
It's
suggested
in that
it wasn't.
little. There's a little like side box or a little side area inside the box.
Someone's opened boxes before.
What's in there?
Wow, you're
There's
the best
accessories.
unboxer I've ever seen.
Hey, extra earpads.
to fit your overly sized head.
No,
Put
it
your
is
big
not
head on
wireless.
your giant pillow.
But yeah, so Drop sent me out this. They wanted to do a review. So here's the funny thing about this, because I mean, you might be among the many people that haven't really heard of Drop before, because, well, I mean, hey, but the EPOS PC38X is what it's called. They say that they use the same drivers from the Sennheiser GSP 500 and 600. Which, Josh, you might be able to speak better towards. I don't know if you've heard them before or not.
No.
But Sennheiser doesn't mess around. The idea with this is that what they've told me is that they have angled drivers in them, so it's supposed to give you better positional audio, and so you're going to hear movement behind you and such, even with a stereo headset. I have no idea. They've just literally live today. It's my pick because I'm going to be playing with it throughout the week and seeing how it goes. For those of you that hate open back design, it sorry to say it is, but that's not really the worst thing ever. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how it'll be. Picked up that Swedish game, Generation Zero. So I'm going to see if maybe that helps in that. Tried it on a few other games.
That was a fishing game.
Oh, I have that too. I wonder if that has positional audio.
Swedish fishing.
Oh, the Swedish fish.
You go
Yeah, one
and
day
catch fillings rather than actual fish.
One day I will feed you lutefisk and akavit, and we'll see how that goes.
No. Lutefisk is verboten in my house.
Well, we won't do it in your house, then.
Okay.
So yeah, look forward to my impressions on this when I actually get a chance to test them and try them out.
Excellent. From those frequency response graphs, looks like that might be a little bit on the bright side, but who knows how that actually pans out. Although, in my experience, open back tends to be a little bit lighter sounding anyway. Closed back gives you more bass.
Well, I think they're seriously aiming
That's
for just gaming.
Who
And
has
so,
a back
oh, and
with
Electric
high and mid
Contester.
range?
Oh, Josh is modeling his earphones again.
Grey Dome.
Stop touching them. Stop it.
And you'll probably see them on the podcast because it's got an electret condenser, which, I mean, I haven't really tried that condenser very much. None of the headphones I've tried have had.
The
Do you know if you wet your finger and you do with the Grado, it starts humming?
Josh is whining again.
Okay. So yes, look forward to that review. Another Jeremy review coming soon to PCPer.com and the podcast. Brett,
That's a threat, not a promise.
it is a threat. Brett, your pick. As I
Very
make a
straightforward.
plosive into my microphone.
A very straightforward pick this evening for those upgrading to a newer graphics card. Anything in the mid to high end range, you're clearly going to need a bigger power supply, especially with the new cards about to come out. You're definitely going to need to upgrade, and I think maybe the new minimum is pushing 800 watts nowadays, considering the new graphics cards. So here's a very good sale on an 850 EVGA, nice name brand, full modular, $89 right now. List on it that they say is $160. So at $90, sub $100, considering today's unfortunate economy, 10-year warranty with an echo mode and a variable fan. This looks like a really good deal. $90.
These are nice power supplies. I've used one of these before. The Supernova 850GA. And yes, they are
Eco,
fully modular.
not echo. Echo mode is like, we're going to dampen sound and reverberate it in your case. No. Anyway.
You're getting very
No,
close.
Echo,
to
he's thinking of Echo the Dolphin.
Yes.
So these are not the ribbon style cables. These are the kind of thicker braided cables. So they are all black.
Yeah,
Oh, look, a
they're nice.
floppy power adapter. Yes.
Cool.
Look at that. Yeah.
Now I
Throwback.
just need some negative 5-volt power. I doubt that we're going to find that on this model. But
It's fully modular. Maybe this is their way of clearing out their non-12VO supplies. I don't know, but
It could
it's
be.
an 850 for. Oh, there you go. Supernova 850. That's the G Plus. For $90 is a reasonably good deal. So if you're looking for an upgrade before your next graphics card, this is it. It's going to be good.
And I think the GAs compared to the G Plus are smaller. I want to say the G Pluses
Yes, they
were.
are. The G Plus is not a small machine.
Yeah, they were like 160, 180 millimeters, and these are little ones, like 140, 150. More
I like
compact.
big cases with lots of fans, so it didn't matter to me.
Excellent.
An easy way to get EVGA Elite status. Perhaps. I'm not sure that you want that, but sure. Go ahead.
My pick. My pick this way.
Wait.
This week.
You got a pick?
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
It's weird. This is just weird.
That's against the rules.
My pick this week is the AMD Ryzen 7 5700G, which I've been playing with. I bought myself, and I bought it for $309.99, thinking this is a good deal. Retail on this is $359, and now it's down to $269.99, and I'm kicking myself. But the savings are all yours. If you haven't bought one of these yet and you're thinking about it, AMD seems to have just dropped the price on this because now it's being listed as apparently $296.98 and down to $269.98. If you go to AMD Direct, it's still $359 there, but other outlets have it. I think it's $289 at BestBuy.com and $269 here. I haven't checked Amazon yet, but it's the highest end APU you can currently get, 65 watts, and I'm finishing up a little evaluation of, I was thinking like before and after. What if you get one of these now, waiting for next gen graphics cards is my angle. And then you pair it up with a discrete GPU later. Are you really missing out? Like, should you just get a cheap dedicated graphics card now if you're planning on getting one later? And I think the results might surprise you.
Spoil the punchline. Don't spoil the punchline.
I'm not going to.
Okay, well,
It'll spoil itself next week.
I already have one positive comment on these new headphones.
Yes. Oh, long cable.
It keeps going. That's
like an 8-foot cable, man.
7 foot or 8 foot to 6 foot.
And it comes pre-tangled. That's nice.
Well, no, I actually touched it and then just looked away for a brief second. So,
Oh, yeah, that happens.
angle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that is more than 6 feet. Oh, I like that.
So did we actually do the outro?
No,
this
you
has
can't.
been the PC Perspective podcast recorded on May 18th, 2022, which is really weird because I still think it's like 2009, 2010. And we enjoyed talking at you. Hopefully you enjoyed being talking to. So have a good night.